Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar today with JTrader, stocks trader. We do this every Wednesday at 10 a.m., but he comes in around 10:15. We say 10:20 just in case.
Trader, we do this
He's
every Wednesday.
usually in somewhere around 10:10 to 10:15 or so. Anyway, we'll get a peek over his shoulder, how he trades stocks, his setups, how he reads the order flow, integrates order flow within his trading methodologies. And one of the things we really learn about is not only trader psychology, but about the management of the trades, not just entry and exit, but the management and due to the order flow. All right, so you guys know who JTrader is, and his contact information is here if you want to reach out to him. We've got email, etc. I'll put this into the chat for you. We got to go through these disclosures. Bear with me for just a moment here, and then we're going to jump right into the S&P E-mini before JTrader jumps in. We've got some interesting stuff to go through from yesterday and this morning, and I'll explain why in just a second. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation, demo, paper trading mode and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump right in here. S&P, what a roller coaster. Looks like one. We see this trickle down here in the morning, 7 a.m. Tons of liquidity down here in some of these levels, and they're staying in the book and they're getting filled. Okay, here let's see here. Around 41.90, also 87 or so, and then a bunch in here getting filled around 180, 41.80, and then we see a move to the upside above all of these swings from the overnight. Okay, now this action here and this move to the upside is understandable. Let's jump back and how we left off yesterday in the bigger picture, and this is really important to go over. I'll explain why here. Understanding the first thing we want to understand in terms of order flow, we can zoom in and go over the binary, at the very, very low time frame to what makes the market move and understand these things in here, which is really important. Okay. However, this can all be extrapolated to much higher time frames, like why this is moving up in here. There's liquidity here. Buyers here are lifting the offer. There's limit buy orders underneath at a higher level. Here's a reaction to this liquidity. Here's the bump up, and they're pulling liquidity here. These types of simple things repeat again and again and again, and this can be extrapolated to higher time frame structure. So we have on our candlestick charts here, on the left hand side we have our daily chart. In the middle we have our hourly chart, and then the 15-minute chart over here on the left. All right, so this is what I want to go through because we were looking at these levels very specifically yesterday on the higher time frame, and we were looking for the move lower, and we drew these two lines up here way earlier, like when we were up here in these levels, and as we're starting to come down, where might it come? This is where we're looking for a bounce. Okay, now it might trade through this, but this is where we saw buyers before, and we're looking for buyers again. All right, so and how many and how much, and if there's more sellers over here, that's where the order flow and the context is going to be very helpful. So if you're swing trading and looking on the higher time frames, this can still be really, really helpful, looking at the order flow, understanding the demand and the supply in the order book. All right, so uh, we would assume there would be a bounce. And look where it came to yesterday. Okay, look at the low. Look at these previous lows. All right, this is why. Okay, now the hourly chart yesterday. Good Lord, where was it exactly? I think we were caught up in here and we're looking for the move lower. And it unfolded exactly down into our levels that we're looking for. And then, yeah, we're down into these levels at that point. Okay, and this kind of 41 30 area, somewhere around there. And then let's see, yesterday, this is 1 p.m. That's not yesterday. This was yesterday. Okay, here's 11 a.m. Okay, and we saw this little bounce here on the hourly, and then we saw the move lower again. Not enough buyers, looking for them to trade down below the lows here. And then we traded back down into the higher time frame over here, and we're getting the bounce. All right, so understanding these levels in here, understanding and marking them up is really, really important. In fact, we can look at our in fact, I'll show you a tweet. I don't know what happened to that tweet. I guess it got deleted somehow. But I've got the images and I'll go over it in just a second. I'm going to spend some time on this before JTrader comes in, because it's really important. Okay, understanding these candlesticks here, because this candlesticks here, the meaning and the true meaning of what's going on in here is diluted completely, almost completely diluted here, because we're just seeing up candles, down candles, starting to read, oh, this means that, and etc. This doesn't matter. What matters is the order flow behind it. This is what makes up all of this here. And then all of these kind of candlestick patterns and diversions can be a thing, but a doji, and then like a golfing pattern, whatever it might be, shadowed here, bullish, this or that, doesn't matter. What matters is what's inside of this area here. Okay, is what gives the insight. Okay, and we're looking for that understanding in Bookmap and extrapolate that to all time frames. All right, so we drew this line in here yesterday, and I think I can go down to maybe a daily here. Let's see. Yeah, we drew this line in here yesterday, and we talked about this line here and why it was important. Okay, and the reason being was we saw this level over here in this little area in here. All right, we saw that. Let me see if I can get the amount of bars in here. Hold on a minute. I think I can. Number of bars. Oh God. All right, you guys are gonna have to bear with me on this. It's kind of a little bit limited here. Anyway, we talked about this level in here. Maybe you can still see it. It would be helpful. No, or I cannot. Okay, how about this? And look back 1 week. That's better. All right, I think I got it. No. Okay, all right. Sorry about this, guys. Anyway, we talked about why this level was important in here, and you can't really see it too much in the candlestick chart. It's in there, but we saw wicks above it, and then the breakthrough, pull back, bounce off of the line here, and we drew this line in yesterday, and we knew that this was an important area. So yesterday we traded through it, and look at the pullback. The pullback came right to our line that was right here. It's an important area. Okay, we said this was around 42.27. Came right to it, and we just came right back to it again right now. Or let's see, looks like earlier, 15 minutes or 20 or 30 minutes ago or so. right? So we came right back to it again, right in there. So it's an important area. Now here, I've got it here. All right, so this was the area in here that I'm talking about. The wicks, the break above it, the pullback. Now it's bouncing off of it. Okay, so what was resistance, and we see sellers in here, now a support, and we see the follow through to the upside. Here's the breakdown below it and the pullback to it again here. And understanding this line in here is critical for the market structure. So this is where we saw the order flow shift, right? And we were looking for yesterday the move lower, which did unfold. And then there's another line in here that I wanted to mention that's important. Okay, and you can see it right in here, this dashed line, right? So the breakdown below it, and then it kind of bounces up and down in this area in here, trades in a consolidation area here, and then the sellers drop it, and they drop to new lows here, right? And then we get a pullback to it several times here, very tricky in the afternoon here. So you guys were on with Tom B, and probably saw a lot of back and forth in this period here. And then later in the day, though, look at the follow through. Okay, and look how the sellers or buyers kind of take it, just pop up above that level, and then right down below it, and then you're going to see the selling come in likely here, and this is where we look for that selling that will move the market away, okay, from an area, and with size. And you'll see it on Bookmap. You'll see the sellers pick it up before they broke this area, and then you look for it. We're looking for the follow through to the downside here. Same ideas that can be extrapolated to today. Okay, so here's our move up. Now it's almost an equal move back down. And now where would you guys think that there's kind of an important pivot in here? So just based on what we just went through, there's many lines in here to take a look at, to be honest. Not as clear as the examples that we had from the last few days or so. Okay, so yeah, well, this is kind of what we're looking at here. There's a few different lines and breakouts. You can see it in the structure. All right, so let's see. Just a minute. Okay, yeah, so here. Okay, so well, it's actually a little bit higher here, is even a little bit better, and it's the breakout of this range up here, the top of it, and look at the buying, and look at how they're moving it away. Okay, pretty clear that they're moving it away. Okay, we're looking for and targeting higher liquidity in the order book, and look where we went to. This is our 42.27 that we just talked about, and that was this pullback here, right here. Okay, right here today. Okay, from this line that we drew. All right, so understanding these important levels in here, up here. Okay, and it rejects, completely rejects. And then we see that, look at how the sellers pound it below this area in here. And then now continuation to the downside. We're already there. We're already at new lows here at 41.70 or so. And let's see if they're going to continue here. All right, so then we're looking for 41.60, okay, 41.50, this liquidity down here. Now this is where we have to be kind of careful because it's already moved pretty strongly. Okay, we stay with the move though until we see something different. Stick with the bigger trend until we see something different, right? And start to understand the behavior of the order flow. Okay, what sticks out to you guys down here in the behavior of the order flow already? What do you guys think?
Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Joseph. How are you? Okay, let's the selling. No, look at the absorption down in here. Yeah. So this is and look at the offer over here. Okay. So anyway, we'll watch this dynamic over time, guys. Just wanted to go over this and note how they're absorbing on the way down there. They're staying in the order book and they're getting filled. All right. So and starting to understand this dynamic and where they're going to get upended. If we get buyers back up above 41.75, likely back up to 41.85, etc. Anyway, guys, let's turn it over to Joseph. That's what we're here for. We want to look at some stocks and let's see what Joseph has cooking for us here. So let's see, Joseph, if I can see your screen, if you're projecting. Yes.
Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, guys.
All right.
Can you see, traders, my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, welcome everybody. Thank you for the weekend. I received some good comments, and glad that a lot of you are finding, I would say, help. It's a good feedback, the one that me and Bruce and Doug and others gave over here. So this morning
Joseph,
we had
a quick note, Joseph. Some really nice content recently in Discord, so thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Very, very clear and concise. I love it. I love the way you mark stuff up.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Thank you very much. The goal over here, traders, is to always share how to use Bookmap, and then everybody has his own way to use it. My point is to show a way that I like to use it, okay? So everything that I share during the day is not, I'm showing a trade, you must take the trade. No, I always say that you never have to follow alerts from no one. Instead, you have to learn how to trade, okay? Having said this, market in the last 2-3 days, since Friday, I would say, was really in turbulence. Yesterday, we had a Tesla failed. I took a good short. And this morning, I was expecting follow through on Tesla, but I always have I would say, a double plan, because I never want to be biased. When I found myself to be biased, I think is the worst thing, because then you're stick with your thought, and you have we say, you're simply blind. You don't see along, not even if all the market is going up, or vice versa, the short. So what I did is to wait. I took the morning pre-market short over here, very, very small, pay a pizza or not even a sushi over here. And I was just getting my feet wet. The reason why is I was looking at the bigger picture. So I was looking at this. All right. And I had also Bookmap over here. You can see pre-market from 6 o'clock a.m. East. I'm in Europe, so I can simply join early. For example, Bookmap and the dayline I teach and the chart patterns work extremely good on the DAX. Okay, so that is another very good possibility that you can do. So yesterday we had the trendline break, and this was not the first one. We had one a few days ago, one still the previous week. So we have a continuation of the trend. And now you see only a downtrend, right? So this is a short time frame. When I'm looking to make a plan, I start from very far. Supposedly, you should already have, I would say, took a watch over here to the weekly and the daily. And you can see that the formation over here is a wedge. Why? Because we have lower highs and higher lows. So every time we have a wedge, we have the contraction of the volume. And then on breakouts or breakdown, ideally outside of the pattern, you're going to see the majority of the volume. So this is a weekly chart. Then I switch to a daily chart, and you don't need any kind of indicators. Just look at the levels, and you can see how many levels I have. Because if you remember a couple of months ago, we made a day where we were analyzing the daily levels, okay? And daily levels are basically essential on the chart because those days, those levels will be again in play during next weeks or next months, okay? For example, you see this dip that we had over here, right? At 760. The 760 dip came back in place over here, where we were like bouncing and then bouncing over here. So also this was uptrend line. And again, you can see the uptrend line from here, dip here. And yesterday, when I was shorting, my target was 880. This. I wrote it everywhere. I was looking for that 880. So I didn't trade this thinking, oh, it will go down 100, 120 points. No, I didn't have this idea. My idea was to trade a setup. Then eventually it faded and, you have to be good like trading it. But after this, I go to the 4-hour chart and I start looking at one thing. So if I see any kind of level that for me it's important, it's near the actual price, like this morning, we were on this uptrend line. Hope you can see traders clearly. This was the dip. This was another dip. This was on the 15th of March. And I just dragged my line a couple of days ago. And I got this level yesterday at A62, A63. Okay, so yesterday the 26th. What I do, I take over here Bookmap and I scroll down. This even in pre-market, okay? And I start looking, okay, now where I have the main support, where I have the main resistance, okay? So I try to match the two things. Do I have where, for example, have the trend line? So A62 we were looking for, right? And over here, even this one, 882. So do I have any kind of main support? So we had this and we had this. So we had one at 860, one at 880. All right. So those two levels can be a good important level for a possible bounce or even reversal. Okay, so this is the first point in my plan. So looking at the bigger picture and then moving down to the, I would say, medium-term picture and then to the short-term picture, which could be 5 minutes, 3 minutes, a 1 minute, whatever. And over here, looking at the 5 minutes, we can see the trend line. Okay, we are talking about on a 5 minutes, and this early morning with the breakdown, and that was the reason why I started to short. Then I was even, careful to add, because I know that we still have those support over here. Okay, and I know that in pre-market, not always I can see the main support below. The next thing I'm adding over here. So today we're gonna do a different lesson, and we're gonna implement over here the dots. Some people ask me which size I use, and I'm sorry, traders, I received a few messages last night. I'm sorry if I couldn't still answer, but I promise end of the day we'll answer everybody, okay? Just I had a busy morning over here. I have over here, you can see minimal display volume. For Tesla, don't really put 5,000 because you won't have that much. We can put over here simply, let's see, say 100. And that will be fine. The other thing that you can add over here, if you go in configure add-ons, I have the sweep indicator, and then I put it over here automatic. Okay. So it really works good if we have a lot of washes or things like this. Let's see if I can filter it. Okay. So sometimes you will see too many. So what to do? Double click, disable and re-enable it, and then it will work fine. Now, look over here this morning, 920, that resistance over here. Okay, and then with a reversal. First of all, this reversal didn't come like that. I was looking at ES, and you can see ES over here on my right. This is ES, right? And we form a double top. And even on the second top over here, which is also lower high, we had a big main stuff. So that was the first, I would say, idea that this was going to fade. This has happened 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock is over here when we are below the VWAP. And when we're shifting over here below the open level. Now, getting back to Tesla. Okay, so remember, this is a 5-minute chart. Let's point the 920 over here. So this was the highest peak in volume on the chart. And then it started fading with lower highs. You can see over here, after this main sell-off from 920 till 905 VWAP, we have a small consolidation over here. Then again, distribution more over here, got to that support 880. Remember, 880 yesterday was the main support. Main support yesterday, just over here. Now, I'm still not short on this one. I didn't take the top over here at 920. I was looking for a reversal, but I didn't take because I was still not sure to trade against this main previous support, right? Because if you're trading short from the top, so a counter 10 trade, you have this is support, this is support, this is support, this is another support. So I decided to wait, and I'm still actually waiting that I will have like a fail below this level over here, 880, and then I'm looking to short. So I'm looking for this level over here, 880, and then I'm looking for the short over there. What to do, I suggest you to put your trend lines. So you can see the trend line passing just for this dip. That could be a very good level below 880 where I'm shorting pops. Okay. So Kamikaze is asking, if you look at the best bid and the best ask on Tesla from like 1020 East onwards, is super wide. Can you explain why, please? All right. So the first thing is, if you have a small account, I would suggest, of course, after a time of studying and practicing first demo or paper, whatever, to trade options. Okay. I mean, I've seen a lot of traders. And I met a lot of traders, and we started with a small account with the option because otherwise it's very hard to trade big caps, especially Tesla. This is the first thing. And spread will be something that you always find. Now, a few clues that I believe not too many know about is that when a stock, okay, get extended, right, like in this case, get extended like over here, around 940 time, 950 time, okay? The more you get extended, the more you start seeing spread, wider, the more chances that there will be a reversal if nearby we have a good amount of resistance and therefore sellers. Okay, so remember this. Often you will see that, and I'm going to explain it in this way. The price is going up, is going up, is going up, is going up. Like, make believe that this is the distance between the bid and the ask. And it's accelerating, okay? Accelerating, accelerating, accelerating. And the more you go up, the more it gets far, okay? So widen the spread. That's often or in a lower high, or in a stuff, or in a trend line break and rejection, or in a big heat map. Or you see, for example, heat map jumping in over here, making a stair step down pattern. That is a very good clue for an imminent possible reversal. Okay, but of course, it's not, you see the spread wide, oh, it's going to reverse. No, not by itself, but with more tools together. So I was looking at the tape over here this morning. And over here, we had wider spread. And over here, what we had also, a big main resistance. And then we also had this trend line break and then lower high. Okay. The other thing is when we have a big washout, when we have a big breakdown, and you see a lot of panic selling, like over here, then also you have the spread getting wider. Okay, because they're simply putting market orders and they're simply dumping. And a lot of traders cannot really get filled as they want. You know, how many times traders use, for example, discount brokers and the stock is falling and you're still there that you're trying to get out, or maybe you're short and you want to simply cover everything and it's simply like spiking. And you said, wow, I didn't get filled. Maybe my stop loss limit got filled. I had a wide spread and a wide slippage with the market order stop loss. This happens. This happened to everybody. Okay. So be careful about those moments. That's the first thing. Now, I really want to see if we can break this support. So you see, I'm using the chart pattern over here, right? This is the main trend line. And we can do, let's see if I put 15 days. Okay. So we have the main trend line over here. And now I'm waiting for this 880. This morning I shorted IFIB, and the conviction was high because the tape was, I would say, helping me out. We don't have any kind of we had daily resistance, okay, but we didn't have any kind of big daily near resistance. So the main resistance that I see over here are these days. So let's take a look at this weekly chart. The first thing I start is always with the weekly. If you don't have the weekly, you can look at the daily. So we had the resistance 364. I read the news about this, and the news was over here, AFIB. We had let's see over here, announces agreement to fund strategic growth priorities. Okay, so it's a strategic agreement. They generally tend to fail. Also, I went to see over here the share float was 22 million. The volume traded pre-market was not in flow rotation. I can go back and double check. Over here, I don't have it. I will need to put over here 1 minute. So pre-market volume was not flow rotated. We had traded 2/3 of the float. So generally in the first then 5-10 minutes, you have a flow rotation. But I'm not really worried when we have only a flow rotation between 9:35 and 9:45. I'm more worried when I have a flow rotation multiple times in pre-market. That really can be dangerous. So about my levels, I was looking at the 8, I was looking at this 365, because while this was pushing in pre-market, I need to look what are the levels that really interested me. Okay, and over here I was looking also for this level over here. So we had this low of the week with the highest volume and this high. After I move to the daily, and you can see that, we don't have like 50, 100, 200 million volume over here in the chart. It's only this. It's only this. So I'm looking even more carefully if I see any kind of other resistance. Over here, 296, you can see that we have like some gap. That for me is an important level, even if it's small. And then over here, I was looking really the last 2 months. So I was zooming in, and I was looking at this low that we had exactly here, 139. So when I went to trade this, I saw this main push. Let me show you this. I go over here, automatic mode. All right. So we had a morning push very early, around 6:30. Okay, traders. And we were pushing up. And then the amount of sellers I saw up here at 140. So once I saw these big amounts of sellers, my short was not on the front side of the move. Okay, because a lot of traders, they simply start shorting while something is going up, which is very wrong. I mean, I was measuring over here the trend line. So I had taken over here at least 1, 2, 3 dips. And I was looking at this point, okay, so in this zone between 145 and 130, that we didn't have only buyers, but also we had a lot of sellers. And over here, the price came to a top at 142, okay, so this top over here. So when it popped basically up here, and you can see the amount of sellers joining, I shorted over here, 140 exactly. My risk was 145. So I was risking a couple of cents. Trend line break. And I remember to say this, if we're going to break the 130, then this is going to fail. Fail to my main target over here, 110. And you can see from that moment that we didn't have any kind of main support. Some support came over here only at 110, 112 at the gate, but very, very slow, very, very weak support. At open, we had stuff over here. So open stuff came down, VWAP rejection. I added more just when it came down below the VWAP. And then you can see over here, it bounced it into that heat map liquidity. We had over here a huge order around 217. Somebody got absorbed. I sold more exactly over here into the 13 when it was fading from there. And I'm still holding full size. Holding full size because my target is down here in this gray zone into the 0.90. So I'm holding my full position because I have conviction. Because if I see this chart over here, we also have to put pre-market. So let's do it like this. Okay. And we do like this. We see a first main resistance, then more resistance over here. Then they're building more resistance over here, then over here, then over here, over here. So until I see these resistances like moving down, moving down, moving down, I think it's a very good short to hold. Also, traders, focus on this. We traded, okay, at 111, 1,190,000, okay, and we can see now how many shorts are in. Also, look at all these big bubbles over here that we have after the open. I mean, they're selling tremendously. Okay, so this is a very good component. No, buddy, that's the amount of a seller that we had at that price over here, and sellers and buyers, but you can see that the majority were sellers. So I really like, and the other thing that I liked over here is this, is this. It's like, you know, it's coming down. So you have a heat map, and then you have another heat map over here, and then you have another heat map. This is perfect. Right now, I can tell you something. I cannot trade on small caps. I trade 50% small caps and 50% big caps, okay? But now we're talking about small caps. I cannot trade small caps without Bookmap, especially with all the, with all the manipulation that there is in this market, okay? Let's look at the other stock that I'm in. So these days we had, if you remember, one of those, let me clean this over here, perfect. One of those stocks that was simply crazy, and it's called NUTX. And I'm gonna explain the process over here. So let me put this. Anybody traded this, by the way, these days? Ryan traded NUTX. Okay, we have to make a step back. All right. I'm going to try to keep the chart now as simple as possible. So I'm going to use this. All right. Look at this chart. Okay, Ryan. Whenever you want, you can even share the trade, buddy. So this is the first day on NUTX. Okay. Yesterday, it squeezed a lot of traders. It came up. Before we have to make a brief summary over here of what is NNTX. So look at the stats, 2 seconds. NTNX. So what I'm looking over here, NUTX, pardon traders, NUTX. So what I'm looking over here, the first thing is, what is the market cap? Because there's a really big distinguish between how to trade small caps and how to trade big caps. Now, I don't have over here any kind of stats, and it can happen, you know, a recent IPO or whatever. So sometimes I go over here to dilution tracker, and I start looking over here at NUTX. It gives me market cap, 5 billion, institutional ownership, 0.8%. And then I start reading over here. You see, they have like one note from yesterday. Recent merger, 48 million pre-merger, 592 million is soon in merger. Inside owner, around 20 of the pre-merger entity, 33.5 held in DC according to OC 425. And we have over here a service company with approximately 1,500 employees nationwide, is in partnering with over 800 physicians, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can read over here. You can go on FinViz if you want to see other stats. But I mean, I see it over there, and that's fine. Over here, we have a 47 million float and market cap 5 billion. So it's not a small cap, right? Now, financially, I'm looking over here and I don't see much. So when I don't see over here too much information, history of the stock, gap stats, I am very, very careful. And then I start relying on the chart itself. Okay, so this is a 5-minute chart, but let's go back and check the weekly. You won't see too much. Exactly. So we saw only this big day over here. Let's put the daily. You will see again too much over here. So what I did, I took a fib from the side to the low, and I calculate my fib levels where I'm interested in. You can see over here better on the 5-minute chart what I did. And now we'll go over and check with Bookmap what were the key levels that I was watching. So if anybody wants to help me or like, just like join, tell me. So we had over here traders. And the first high, I plotted at 13.83. So it's the high of yesterday, which is the 100%. It really is different. For example, tossed by TradingView, how to plot it with TradingView is the opposite. So you'll need to put, for example, the 100, the low. Then over here, I put this 88, I put the 78, I put the 61.8, the 50, the 38.2, the 23.6, and 0. So this is a little bit of information on what are the best levels to look for a reversal on retracements. So yesterday we came all the way down, over here, and we close into this area. This morning we had a gap up. And I always say gap up is a big beast because one, or you have a bear trap and then right away you long it on a reclaim. Otherwise, you always look for an extension and a blow up of the volume of the exhaustion. And what I'm telling you this, I wrote in pre-market, okay? So it's not that I'm giving you things, 2020. No, I wrote in pre-market all the process that I already had in mind because it's a setup that I saw like multiple times. And we started like going up over here. You can see 930, it pushed, came down. And then we have, if you can see, look over here. This is what really triggers the reason to go long. So first of all, we found a dip almost to that uptrend line. And then we found a higher low. This higher low, if you see this pattern, what is this pattern? This is an ascending triangle with a breakout, okay? And then in 950, which is this level over here, traders, look what happens. This over here. We had this big absorption. So they tried to sell over here. They tried to sell even a decent amount. Remember, this is a almost $9 stock. So 56K, right? 56K on this. And I often see that the best bear traps are when they start like trapping huge amount of sellers, mostly below the VWAP, which is this red line. And then they start pushing it, especially because we have a day two. So below over here, where yesterday closed, we have a huge amount of support. So we have support, absorption, fake breakdown, and bear trap over here, the VWAP. And then look, before we are looking, remember at AFIB, sorry. And then we are looking also at Tesla, and we could see when sellers join, But look over here. I see no purple. I see no magenta. What it means? It means that this is full of big buyers, okay? Full of big buyers. Exactly, buddy. Good trade there. And it pushed all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And now, everybody know, once the stock goes up, first of all, you don't know where to sell and where to reverse if you want to go also short, right? Or even just where to sell. So what I do, we had over here the push 910, 915, VWAP break, and then push. I'm looking for the next heat map, and also I'm looking for the previous day's resistance, okay? And what I can see over here, we had the price, for example, before stalling into this level, because a dip over here was held, rejection over here, and then over here we have some rejection, I would say, over here into this area. So look, the first level that I traced was the first pop, and then once we push and broke, it came where? To the 61% fib, and then over here to the 1050, which is the previous resistance, correct? Makes sense, traders? Let's see if somebody has a question on this.
I think we're good.
Okay. So the point is to take that exactly that level over there. Because once you do this, okay, you have many things that confirm your thesis. Thank you, Bruce. So we have, traders, one, as I said, the daily levels. Two, a big move with, we say, big selling, big buying pressure. That sooner or later, when the stock moved like $1.50, $2 over here, this moved like, something like 15% in about 5 minutes, it has to pull back. So at this stop is not, oh, I'm shorting all size, it will go down now 50 points, whatever. No, I'm starting to take a trade because I start seeing over here that is basically topping that 1050. And when it started to come down, I started seeing a main seller. Okay. Main seller, relative main seller. Of course, this was bigger at 970, but we broke him and we got to that level. We came back to 1023. So this level over here, I started to take short. I saw him over here. I said, okay, now it's better. Now we have sellers. So we passed from a momentum over here of almost purely buyers. And that's the reason why, because it's squeezed, right? Not all of these are real buyers. A lot of these are covers. So you know that if you're short of it down here, and then you start to stop over here, you'll push the price higher. So when longs are exhausted, you look over here. And when, of course, you have like all shorts out of the play, what happens? It's gonna fail. And it fade easily over here. Simply fade easily, like boom, instantly. Right? It lost like 60, 70 cents. Then it consolidate like it's normal to do. Just on the point of control. You see my intraday point of control. And then when I saw this, I said, okay, now I feel calm. Okay? Because at 10:05, so when I saw this, I said, okay, now I can relax a little bit. Now I know that the worst case scenario, I'm going to use the stop at that 10. And I start seeing over here only blue. I start seeing over here only buyers. No. So the second thing when you start shorting the top is to look how much is the ratio between buyers and sellers. So over here, just like, visually, you can see that 3/4 of the dots are only sellers. And that gives me conviction to hold the trade. So it's very simple, the strategy that I use. It's combining levels on the daily. In this case, we have levels on the daily plus a fib, right? Fibonacci retracement. Remember, not extension. These are retracements. And then I start looking for levels on Bookmap of selling. And then also the shift between demand to supply, so more sellers. And this is exactly what we need to do every single time. Okay? This is exactly what we need to do every single time. Now, I want to look over here because I'm holding this trade and I want to show you how a stuff behaves. So a lot of traders ask me, even yesterday, I had a trader from over here, from Bookmap. He messaged me and asked me, Jay, you always talk about stuffs, but what is a stuff? Okay, so you can go watch the videos on Discord, on Bookmap YouTube. Me and Bruce, we spoke also about stuffs. I don't know if it's in the title, but you can watch. You can take a look. And stuff is a breakout. So imagine that everything is going for a breakout. And you have a lot of hope, a lot of FOMO that breakout will work. But instead, you have to think at the counter, we say third party, because they're thinking that if the breakout brings so much demand, right? So imagine this breakout. Over here, we know that if we break over here, how we break? We break with a good amount of volume. You can see over here, the volume was even big. And part of these were buyers. So once they break this level, they form like a support because they are still buying here, they're still buying here. So if you have a huge amount of shares to dump, we'll dump it down here. Or being that you're a smart eagle, you'll wait that they create this breakout, and just on the breakout traders, you will sell all your position. It's good, right? For example, what some traders do, and want to get involved in this, but what traders do, they have maybe chat rooms, they pump where they're long over here, they call the breakout, and then they use their followers to dump on them, which is totally unethical. That's the reason why I never pump and dump. But I look for, instead, these patterns over here to look for a possible short. Or let's say I'm long with the Zalens from, the early morning. I look to sell in these patterns over here. So this is a big breakout. You can see 950. We have the $half number. We have the previous resistance, which is this over here. So they finally do that. And then you can see over here, they buy, they buy, they buy. They stall. Boom, boom, dump. So stuff are immediate rejection of high, or say, considerate breakout levels. Got it? Is it clear for everybody?
Yeah, nicely explained, Joseph.
Thank you. Okay, so right now, my plan, just looking at this chart, right? My plan is to take some profit on this support. The support I traced this early morning in pre-market when I was doing my plan. I like to make these, to trace these levels, like over here. This, I could think, depends if I put it from here or there. But if I put it like over here, seems like a channel, right? And a channel like this, where we push down, we bounce, we push and stuff, seem a possible scenario like this, okay? Therefore, I'm holding my position. But of course, I want to trim something over here, around the 830, 840. We have some micro support, 850. I don't see a huge amount of buyers. So I would love that we break that and we wash. So on the wash, of course, I'm ready with the hotkeys or hot buttons, whatever you use, to cover portion of your position. So we had over here yesterday, remember, a gap up, okay? It closed in a gap up, so this morning was a gap up as well. And today, we still have a gap up that I want now that goes as a gap down. So start looking at sellers. So remember, over here, channel, and then boom. This seems like coming down slow, but I can tell that I was following all yesterday and all today. When it moves though, it moves so fast. So maybe it seems like it's doing nothing. Boom. 50, 70 cents like in a minute. What means 70 cents? 1,000 shares, $8,000 invested, you make $700-800. That's the 70 cents. Okay. So it's a pretty good move. That's the point. So I'm seeing over here weakness, and I see really over here a lot of support. This is also what I call a three-way pattern. So that ideally would be my target. We have, I believe, also this support over here at 725, right? It's a previous low, but the main support I would love is 660, 670. I will post over here in the Discord room. So I'm going to put NUNTX. We have looking for breakdown of channel TP7. Okay, let's check this in about a couple of minutes. I want to look at AFIB, which I'm still short, remember. It's moving down good, but it's still not at the target I want. It's weak over here. AFIB, well, this I love it because we have 1, 2, 3. So stair step down pattern, SSD pattern. All right, is one of the pattern that I discovered or I created, whatever, for Bookmap, and that I use on all these faders. So we have this level over here, Then we have this level over here, this level over here. Stair step down pattern. Remember it. We're going to hold for there. This is the target. TP. Sorry if how I draw. Maybe I can do better like this. We're going to do TP actually over here. TP. That's our target, traders. So this doesn't mean, oh, you're here with me, with Jay, let's short it together. No, I'm short at 140. I didn't add it like good as I wanted. I added over here 114 and I add a little bit more over here into the 110 over here, 110 before the breakdown. So I'm not really super satisfied because I wanted to add 130. I didn't get filled, but I'm holding this. So let's see if we can at least get this trade. Anybody on this trade, traders, from the early morning? Posting also over here. Let's go back Tesla. And UTX, there we are. And UTX, remember we're looking for the breakdown. Coming near the 850. Remember, 850 right now is the support, okay, of a trend line. I don't see any big support on heat map, so I don't see any kind of big buyers. But also I want to tell you that a lot of traders, they cover too soon. They look at the P&L, traders working, oh, let me decide to take some off. And then again, take some off, take some off, take some off. I had a trader yesterday that I was following, and he took Tesla with me. I took it till 910, 907, the last cover. He took it till the 950 because by the time I reached 950, he told me, I have nothing to cover, like with the last one share. So have rules. Don't look at the P&L. Don't look at unrealized. Just look at average, okay, of price that you entered. And look also, where's your stop loss level? Where are your targets? Think how you're going to trail. When you're in a trade, you have to question yourself if the trade is still valid, if there was anything that is reversing. And then, of course, you have to look at the size you took so you know how much time you can scale out or, for example, recycle and re-add to your position. Pretty weak over here.
Joseph, I love the way you're looking at structure like this and then order flow within the structure at specific levels.
Yeah, that gives us a lot of conviction. And I've been doing this, Bruce, also with the crypto, especially with Bitcoin. Every day I'm on that.
Yeah.
Especially, in the morning, I have a couple of free hours. So I work over here. And it simply works very, very good. It's more like, the connection of putting things together that I like, because for me, only looking at the chart like this, I can tell you, okay, over here I have a support, but what will happen then, Bruce, of the support? Are we going to bounce? Are we going to fail? How can I see sellers? Tape doesn't show me everything that I see over here on Bookmap. So I try to use those structure over here of, let's say, a chart patterns, together with the structure over here and the momentum and the order flow that I see on Bookmap in this case.
Yeah.
I also like to see over here.
That's
on SVP.
the word that I think we use all the time is context, and for a lot of traders, they probably find it very annoying or because we always rely on context, but it really is true. It's about the context of, are we going to bounce? Well, let's look at a higher time frame. Let's look at the order flow. What is it telling us here? What are other traders telling us at these levels? And then we're looking for follow through or failure.
Exactly. Like this morning over here is a total different scenario versus what we have right now.
Yeah.
Because on our chart, okay, we can see we are making at 940 a higher low. But a point for me is that we started to make over here higher lows, and then somebody soaked so big over here. So that is my, yes, this is the timing, because this is like a fake breakdown. Now it tells me, all right, we have no more sellers in control. We have the possibility of a fast reversal. Somebody over here, so maybe is exhausted. So even if I take my trade, my stop is tight. I can risk just below this level over here. But then if I take the trade, squeeze. So it's our return. I'm risking over here 20 cents. Up here moves of $1. So it's like a 5R. And that is the context that I want to have every time I trade. I will never trade for 1-to-1. So I'm always looking for those 3, 4, 5, even more R return. And if I look right now, traders, just looking visually, okay, at the order flow, I don't see any kind of big support. We are at the previous low. We'll see if buyers come in or new levels of heat map come in. For now, I would say that this is pretty weak. We are on that support. They already had stuff over here, a huge amount of traders, and then also over here. So I would believe that longs in these two scenarios over here, they are trapped. So opportunity is that if we break 850, which is this level of support, we can have an unwind all the way down over here, ideally to this $8 level. Let's go back to Tesla. All right.
Carlos is also asking about Netflix if you have a chance.
Now, let's see. Where's the question, Bruce? I don't see it. Okay. Netflix, maybe in chat.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, it was in in YouTube there, but we're broadcasting in YouTube as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, plan this morning that I had on Netflix was to look for a short, or if we would bounce, reverse for a long. So now, let me put my chart. And yesterday, Tesla, Netflix, Apple, Baba, they were really on fire, traders. They were really on fire. So hope you got some really mean it. Because days like yesterday, you have to make your paycheck. So again, the first thing, just 2 seconds, we'll look at the daily. Actually, I want to check the weekly because the support that I took are from previous years. I think I went back over here like 10 years. All right, yes, I went back down here. So we can put the actual levels together. And I'm going to focus on this level over here because we have a supply and then becomes demand. This level over here. And then probably this level over here. Of course, this level over here. And I think that, yeah, I think that we're there. All right. So now the next levels are those. I'm going to put my chart. And this one, actually, I'm going to put this 5, set it to the 1 minute. All right. So look what happened this morning. This was the previous day low. This morning we open 9:30 and we push. I had a position short Netflix, but baby size from here 195 and something, and I cover I believe over here to this 194, just like a baby trade. Then when it opened, I shorted over here it pushed against, and I caught it like for 50, 60 cents. I gave back what I made before in Tesla in the morning and Netflix. Then I reshorted over here because you can see that it was going up and down. And I was looking at this, look. I was looking at this price action. It came to the 196. I like this level because in pre-market, I was looking, you see, for this 195.50, 196. So let me change the color. So it basically was rejecting over here, right? So I started to short, came down, back up, break even, scratch again. So it didn't go as I wanted. I said, okay, let's wait. Let's wait. I'm not in a rush to trade this. And then up here, remember, 945, 950, we see yes already falling. Over here, we see the first breakout, 935 off the first heat map. Pushed the second one and rejected. So once it rejected over here, I was on Netflix this morning. I was looking for a second test to, I would say, a second retest over here of this zone. I basically wanted to see if it was still with a huge amount of selling pressure or not. And it was basically not. Now look at those dots. Remember before we distinguished between buyers and sellers. And over here, who is in control? Buyers, definitely. Okay, the majority of these are buyers, or sellers. Buyers again. At a certain point, what I liked over here is that we start soaking big. Just at this top, 200. And I had a few technical levels over here. One that I can tell you is I was just simply using the whole round dollar number. Big soak. And then I started to see sellers. Okay, first time we start seeing good sellers. And once we formed the lower high, I start to see the first heat map that finally moved down. Now the point is find an entry. Didn't enter on this one. I didn't trade. I was on other. And I simply started to unwind. And look right now. We have another morning support. And we have a big support over here also, something like 15,000. So I'm waiting for a push into the 191.50, 192 to look for a possible short. We are below the previous level, which is this previous low 193. We are below the pre-market low. So this for me could be a good entry, like I had yesterday over here and over here. So if I see that entry, if I spot that level over here of trend break and a short, and again, together over here, I will see sellers. And look how many sellers we have. Then I believe this could be a good entry for us, or at least for me. Yesterday simply failed from the 209, 208 until 192, 193. This morning popped, so popped decently over here. What I said before, we had a 200, also have like other factors over here. One of them is a three-way pattern. And then over here, we faded really with a good amount of volume. We're still looking at the tape, and when we were in screen share, and I could see each pop was sold big. Each pop was sold big. So on this over here, push 1023. You can see that the price simply came up, topped, again below the POC, the point of control, which is this level over here, and then boom, down again. And then we had a 1030. Same exact thing. So look what happened, 1030. It came up again, almost the same trend line, you see it. Came up, 1030, breakdown over here, boom, came down again. So each time this morning, was another one. at 10, sorry, at almost 11. This one. So came up again, trend break, big selling pressure over there, boom, fail. So it's not really hard to trade these. You just need to look for the direction. Fading, I like over here the scenario below previous day range. This is a beautiful stock to trade. And we're going to probably have 150 in the next weeks. All right, so A, F5B, first target.
Joseph, another thing I just wanted to mention that you noted in the beginning of the webinar about bias, and I, it's the same. I mean, like I just wanted to echo your thought. Like every time I have a bias, I'm inflexible. And I'm kind of stuck in my ways, and I can't see the other side of it. And
There's a reason for this, Bruce. Continue. Then I
yeah,
will tell you.
so no, I mean, I really then I have to kind of step back because like the market tells you immediately, like you know, it humbles you very very quickly, and you just go, wow, okay, and it sets you straight, and look again and just read the order flow. The more objective you can be reading the order flow and what they think of the market, the better I do. No question about it. And the more I can see, like, oh, it should bounce here. It should, and it just kind of flows, and it's much easier.
Yeah. There's a reason because whenever our parents, our grandparents, you know, taught us, it's not good for trading. They always tell you have to be invincible. You have to, conquer everything. You have to do it. You have to pursue. You have like to be perseverant. You have to never fail, never fail. It's so wrong in trading. It's so wrong in trading because like that, we think that we have to be always right. Or you think like you say to your children, "Oh, don't worry, you'll become the best superstar in the world." No, it's not true. And for me, it's like something wrong because if you trade with that idea that you'll be always right, you're gonna simply fail so many times. Okay, so the point is to be really realistic and to be, I would say, beyond bias. Of course, you can make your plan, but a good trader makes a plan both ways. Or if you make a plan only one way, doesn't happen, doesn't trade. So this mind, I have to be super, I have to know everything. Now, then you will have so many losses. And UTX, I'm killing it right now. Why? Because we stuck to our plan. Remember before when we said we'd have no over here buyers, and there are the sellers. Boom. Okay. Look at what I just said, traders, to you a few minutes ago. This is our setup. And that's the setup right now. Okay. NUTX. My target is 7. Now reached the 8. I want to see over here the 720 and then ideally the 7. So learn how to use Bookmap like this. Yeah, nice washout over here. Nice washout. Yes, it gives, Kenny. It gives. Over here, I have it. If you go down to over here, you can put NBBO. So you have it.
Beautiful trade, Joseph.
Thank you.
it was like on almost scripted there as soon as we say that, and then take a look at your plan.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking for this, and it's doing that. So good read. We had a good read on that today, traders. Now, my point is, this is a nice support because before also we bounced from it. So we have also some decent support. For me, it's a first good place where to take partial. Okay. I see a lot of traders, oh no, I want to hold, I want to hold. And sometimes, you know what? The trade goes against you, and then you say, oh, I wait to cut, I wait to cut. Anyway, you won't make any money. For me, that's a very good by rules that I have to take a partial out. That's it. I took my first partial. Bouncing a little bit from the support. So good that we took some profit. The point is they canceled over here this the support at 815. Let's see if it curls down. I mean, below the trend line would be even nice to have this at 720 today. Trying to have a small bounce. I like the fact that we had a volume exhaustion over here. So I relatively like because this is a volume exhaustion to the downside. And often when I see that, then we can see a bounce. So nobody. I was short on NUTX. We had a long in pre-market, sorry, at the gate, but didn't take it on. Yeah, but before we had a good long. Go rewatch if Bruce after will give you the link because we had the long over here. I explained the long how to grab that long at 950. Okay, it's a long that I can tell you will find in many day 2 or day 3 in this market, especially in the small cap land. And not necessarily, $2 stocks, which I don't like that much, but 10, 15, even $20 stocks. And the lower the float, the better these can push. Now, NUTX is not a small cap. Remember, we said before, even it's a low dollar stock, it's a $1 billion company, but it still moved like a small cap over here.
Joseph, we also have a question. I mean, this is really the. I mean, I need to read the question out about Apple, but or to look at Apple, but the meat and potatoes here is really no pun intended there, but like the focus here is that setup that you just had mentioned there, and how and why you pick that due to the order flow. It gave you insight, and you're looking for that squeeze, and then you're looking for the breakdown. and why, and understanding the context here. So
In NUXTX?
yeah,
Okay. So the majority of these bounces, they tend to fail. So there's, first of all, a research on the news and research on the company. Is the company healthy? Is the company having dilution? Do we have any kind of big daily resistance? Have they, I would say, a solid support? Or when we see, for example, these pushes, I start seeing so many sellers. Like, just look at this soak over here, 950, boom, dropped. Really dropped over here in what, 5-6 minutes, 1 point per share. So all of this and also the experience that I have with these patterns makes me understand that this could be a good fader. We had another one this morning, VIBK, which was basically the same thing. We had a morning push. I was looking this with Bookmap, but I didn't have bars, so I couldn't actually trade it. But I mean, I called to the 4 winds, say like this in Italy, to short this level over here. And this was exactly a perfect breakout, fake, boom, all the way down. But, you know, no bars. Look over here now, the liquidity. I mean, this is sick, really sick. Any more questions, traders?
just maybe a quick look at Apple, if you could, is a request there.
Yes.
But
What?
like I said, I mean, I think the core of what you're going over in terms of education and trading here is what you're just covering right now.
Okay, so Apple, in my opinion, is following so much ES and also Nvidia in the last weeks, more than Tesla, more than everything else. And ES, we can see that it's totally inside the previous day range. Looking at the daily chart, hopefully TOS will work. Okay, looking at the daily chart, each time it got to this gray band, okay, we had a bounce. Like one time over here, one time over here, and then we had the one time over here, back this in 2020, and then also one time over here, 2019, and then even before. So uptrend, okay, for now is not a reversal. The support is 155. The next support is 150. Looking at intraday chart, we have no setup for me today to trade it. So I'm waiting for a breakdown 155 to short pops, or I'm breaking a push above 159 to buy dips. Today's super choppy, so not really my interest going on Apple. There are, like, you know, better opportunities. Any more questions, traders?
Tion is asking about is there any promos for your course?
Oh, yes, you can see the price updated to JTrader.co and check for module, okay, yearly or quarterly. You have the courses, beginner advanced, plus the chat room, plus all the lessons inside in the stream. Thank you.
Yeah,
Are
so
there questions?
I just
Oh,
pasted all
thank
of
you.
this in there as well. So no, I think that that wraps it up.
We have another one from No Kung Fu. Do you edge your position with color puts? No, I never did. Because for me, it's like more betting, buddy. I know a lot of friends of mine are doing it. I don't like it, you know, like buy Apple and buy puts over here on Apple or vice versa. And I can tell you, I make money only buying straight calls or straight puts. So this is often done before an earnings. You know, I don't like it, and I just stick with my strategy. I have the entry. I take generally 1/3 the stock, 2/3 the option, and then I sell the stock to get more adoption, maybe monthly expiration, if I'm still like, with the signal for that trend. Got it?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. All right, traders. Let's see. No more question, I believe. Okay. All right. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Bruce, for the day. I think we saw some very good patterns. Again, go rewatch it on YouTube, Bookmap. I think it's some good content. And again, take care. See you again next week, and have a good day.
Thank you very
Bye
much,
bye.
Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye-bye.